What's going on, my friends? This is Dave Sharp. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. And as you can see in the title above, we're going to be revealing today the secret, okay? The secret to success online, especially for beginners. Now, I think you're going to find today that the secret is actually not so secret. It's most likely been hiding under your nose the entire time. But we'll find out, particularly from our guest, who is somebody who took 5 months to research, what he was going to do, whether he was going to start the challenge, and get into affiliate marketing, get out of his full-time career. And he made the decision to do so. He pulled the trigger, and now he's off to the races and is here on our radar and as a guest of the Wake Up Legendary show. So with that being said, let me welcome our guest today. Chad, what's going on, my friend?
How's it going?
Good, man. Like the microphone set up there, buddy.
I actually just got it. Just came the other day.
Oh, nice, man. You going to do some podcasting or just up your video game?
Just up my video game for now.
My man. Very cool. So tell us what took you so long to get started there. I enjoyed the concept of the 5 months of research before you started the challenge. That always gets me. But I get it, right? I'm interested particularly why it took you so long, whether it was paralysis by analysis or whether it was you just kind of were busy with your career in life and you kept coming back to it, or what exactly happened. But if you could wrap that into the nutshell version of your backstory and who you are.
Sure. So for me, yeah, it was definitely a time thing. Like I have 2 kids. I have a 3-year-old and a 4-year-old. My 9 to 5, as my boss always says, it's not a 9 to 5, it's a 24/7, right? So time was always an issue. Yeah, it was, time's always an issue. So, I just always kept doing a bit of research basically every day for 5 months and just trying to figure out how I can bring some extra income into my household, because with 2 kids, a house, a couple cars, It's hard to save, right? Bottom line was I needed more money coming in. And then I stumbled upon this and, started realizing that this only takes, an hour to 3 hours out of your time a day. It's something you can do on the side in your spare time. And I did spend, as soon as I got home, I was on the couch watching Netflix, you know what I mean? Or playing PlayStation 5 or something like that. And I was like, you know what, if I keep doing, nothing's going to change if you don't change your daily routine.
I love that you're just being very honest and real about what you were doing before, and I'm sure you still enjoy some downtime now. It's not like, oh, I started a business, I can't do anything else. But it's like, yeah, I mean, if I look at how much time I'm spending on Netflix or whatever, I could probably spare an hour a day to focus on building up my future, working on my own business, something that I can, bring some extra income in, maybe put into an investment for the future, whatever. So I like that. I appreciate that. I think sometimes there's this idea that entrepreneurship, and every entrepreneur is just this gun ho hustle maniac who just, and it's like, no, that's not even reality anyways.
No.
That's not even, especially if you have kids, like nobody wants to hustle all day long. I don't really think, like, for guys like Gary Vee, that's the attractive message. I think if he dropped that hustle all the time and still did what he does, he'd be just cool. Because I don't really think anybody wants to hustle 24/7. Would you agree?
Oh, no, I agree 100%. Like the whole point of this is to open up more time for my kids, right? So that I can teach them what I want to teach them out of life. So the whole point is to open up more time.
So 5 months of just making sure basically that you're not going to do something that's going to be a waste of time.
Exactly.
Right? You're doing this to add more time, not to be a waste of time. So what was it about Legendary? What was it about the business models we teach that were attractive to you and made you say, okay, I'm going to I'm going to pull the trigger on this?
To be honest with you, it was just a lot of the videos that I saw, like even involving you, or some of the testimonials that I saw that I could relate to. And then I just did my own research on what affiliate marketing is in general, and it just made sense. Like for me, I'm a wholesaler by day, and I believe in fact-based selling. Right, numbers don't lie, stats don't lie, and the bottom line is that there are tons of companies out there, big and small, that need affiliate marketers. It helps generate traffic for them, and as a business, who doesn't want that? So it made sense to me to get involved in, and once it made sense, I was all in.
Yeah. Nice, man. So what is the secret to success online, especially for beginners? And by the way, this is coming from somebody who is getting results, is making money. We're not going to get into specific numbers and so forth. It's not important, and we don't want to give the impression that it's just easy and that your results are going to be everybody's results. But let's just say that I wouldn't be volleying, this question over to you unless you had some results to back it up. You do. And that's great. Congratulations on that. Thank you. It's a big deal, man. I mean, it's a big deal, and we should all just, you should really just take it in and just
it gets me excited to wake up. You know what I mean? Like I actually am excited when I wake up now. The first thing I look at is my back office. But honestly, the secret to me is just consistency. Stick with it, because you can't let those days where you get nothing shut you down. Like you got to be consistent. And if you're consistent and you're true to yourself, true to your story, lots of people out there can relate to you. Like you're not the only one in your position in the entire world. Right. Yeah. So there's lots of people out there that can relate to you. Be consistent and just be transparent. And I think everything will just kind of fall into place from there.
In your own time too, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I think I was messaging somebody last night, just reaching out to them. If I see something or whatever, I like to reach out. I like to try to handle things right away and be involved in what's going on here. I'm not somebody who likes to play the guru role and just be off on an island while our community here is fending for themselves. But so anyways, I was messaging somebody and I was just kind of, he mentioned, I'm frustrated. I look at all these other people getting results and I'm not getting those same results, and it's depressing. It's frustrating. And I really think it's important, and I wonder what your take on this is, Chad. It's really important for us, to not compare ourselves. I call it comparisonitis. But I was listening to Charlie Munger. So this is not Dave Sharp coming up with this. You're probably, those of you who are real dreamers and, real motivational people here on this thing, or if I say lower your expectations, a lot of you guys are going to be like, come on, Dave, I want to raise my expectations. But Charlie Munger, I was listening to Charlie Munger, and he said one of, if not the secret to life, the secret to happiness. Now, Charlie Munger, for those of you who don't know, is Warren Buffett's partner. He's like 90 something years old. They both lived to almost 100, right? And they I was reading their annual report the other day from Berkshire Hathaway that they send out to all their shareholders. And I've just kind of been on a Buffett Munger kick lately, just listening to different things that they have to say. It's all super practical stuff and super like just no shiny hype bullshit. It's just super kind of practical life advice. And he said the biggest secret to my happiness has been to lower my expectations. And at first, when you hear that, especially as a gun-ho entrepreneur, personal development, motivational person, maybe that you are, if you're listening to that and you're really like Tony Robbins, make your move and Gary, hustle 26 hours a day, you're thinking, lower your expectations like that. That's not what I want to hear, Dave. But it's interesting because it makes a lot of sense. Lowering expectations means I can never be disappointed. I can only be excited and overwhelmed when even the smallest little things happen in my life or business. And so everything is a celebration. Everything is a victory, versus if I have such high expectations because I'm comparing myself to everybody else, I can never amount. I can never live up. I can never reach those levels, right? Because so anyways, what comes up for you when I say that, man? And what's your thoughts on that?
No, you're definitely, like, you're spot on with that. I mean, there's always going to be those who are better than you at what you do. That's just plain and simple. You're not, you can strive to be the best all you want, but yeah, you will, if you set that bar too high. It's important to set goals, I think, but I mean, you got to have realistic goals. Start small. I mean, when I first started, just making commissions, period, with affiliate marketing, I was seeing like very low numbers, and you kind of get depressed. Oh, is this working? Is this not working? And then once they start coming in, and you get that, it's almost like it's like a dopamine hit, right? You get excited because you see all these likes, or you see all these the good numbers coming in, and then, like, say you go 2 or 3 days without seeing anything, and you get all down, and then you get discouraged, and then you get on yourself, and you be like, well, this person, I did the exact same thing this person did, but it's not working for me. Well, what works for somebody else might not necessarily work for you. You got to find your own, you just got to find your own path. You got to find what works for you, your personality. That's why I said, just be truthful to yourself, be transparent, and just be consistent with it. Because whatever you're consistent at, whatever you put the time and effort in, will pan out for you if you put in the time. Like, it's a time thing. Right. Well, I can't hear you. I don't know what happened.
I just muted myself. It's nothing happened. It was on my end. It's interesting you say time, because that was another thing that I said to him last night. It's an acronym I've learned or heard somebody else say along the way. It's time. Things I must earn. Time. Yeah. Things I must earn. And there's no way around that. And it doesn't have to be decades. It doesn't have to be decades, guys. We're also not talking about going to college. We're not talking about 4 or 6 years. We're not even talking about 2 years, get all associate's degree. We're not talking about, it may be 2 years. It may be 4 years, but it doesn't have to be, and it's not likely to be if you're consistent the way that Chad, and quite frankly, this is not a new concept. This is not something new that we've heard, is consistency. It's not, oh my God, I've never heard that before. No, we hear it all the time from people who are getting results, and it's both consistency of showing up every day, having a system, daily method of operation, but it's also about not leaving, not quitting before your miracle happens, before you can get the hope that you can do this. So let's transition, talk a little bit about your marketing game. What does your daily method of operation look like?
So I'm a big believer in routine. I think routine is key. It also kind of gives you just kind of a sense of purpose. Like, guys, I wake up every day early before, my 9 to 5 would start, well before. I make sure I get, I groom myself, make myself look nice for the day. You kind of feel better about yourself, right? And then I start with my very first, I'll make a video, say on TikTok or something like that. And I have my coffee, I'll go live. I generally do everything around the same time that I can. I generally post videos at the exact same time. It's a routine. It's like I've been saying, consistent, right? And you got to be persistent, right? Like, that's one thing that I've learned from my 9 to 5, and from my father, who he's been very successful in what he's done. You got to be persistent. That's just plain and simple. I don't really know how else to word that. I can preach it all day long, but consistency is just key. Like, routine and consistency.
Routine is key. Not only routine from, what I've realized is through having a couple of small children in the house and having the wife that I have, who is wiser than I am in particularly in many areas, but particularly about raising children. So I've kind of followed her lead. I'm really, really good at being a good follower when I need to be, right? I'm good because I believe a great leader is also a great follower. You know your place, you know your lane. You don't always have to be the man, right?
Mhm.
A good leader is also knows how to have humility and fall in line and let somebody else lead.
That's
And
right.
in terms of coming up with strategy for our children, she's been that lead, and she's not even a full-time stay-at-home mom. I mean, she also works here in Legendary and has manages our real estate and everything else. But one of the things that I've learned, because I've seen it firsthand, is children thrive under structure and routine.
Yes. Yes. Routine is so key.
So why would I think as an adult that now all of a sudden I can just throw that out of the window because now all of a sudden I'm grown and I know some stuff? Well, for many years, I flip-flopped around in life because I didn't embrace structure and routine. I needed to be a free spirit. I needed every day to be different. I needed to be, and you know what? For those of you who are determined that that's your lifestyle or your personality, we're not forcing this information on you. We're just telling you what works for us. Routine has been huge. Routine for me as well. So I echo that. So, talk to us a little bit about your kind of what you're doing there, the equipment you got, what you've been doing, and now what's next for you in terms of your marketing strategy.
So first thing I noticed was like you got to learn from those who are successful at this. Like when I say like I said earlier, you got to be yourself and put your own kind of you got to tell your own story. But you do got to learn from those who are being successful at this, right? Like I had no shame. As soon as I saw a number of people, I just reached out to them, plain and simple, and I started picking their brain. Right? There's no harm in asking questions. So then I started realizing, well, my video is not that great. So I have a ring light right here, right? So to shed a little bit more light, I got a microphone because I was hearing that people were telling me that they couldn't hear me as clearly or whatever. So I just invested, and I didn't get the best microphone on the market. I got like a $50 microphone, like, you know what I mean? Like that's it, through Amazon there. So, I mean, yeah. And now what's next is I want to go further on with my YouTube. I want to, it's not about making money. It's about showing people what they can do and what's capable of being done online. And I can help you achieve some of those goals. Great. But, and if that makes me some money, great. But, the bottom line is it shouldn't be about making the money, right? It's about showing people, that it's not just about your 9 to 5 and how important it is to maybe even just have multiple sources of income, especially in today's day and age. Because if there's one thing that we've learned from this whole pandemic and everything is that there's no such thing as job security anymore, right? And it's unfortunate, but it's the truth. So that's one of the main reasons why I got into this. I still feel secure in my 9 to 5, but at the end of the day, it's still not 100% secure. So, yeah.
So basically you're going kind of all in on video marketing, right?
Yeah, I feel more comfortable with it. I've been in sales kind of my whole life. I started door to door and worked my way up. Like I went, like I did lawn aeration and driveway sealing. I've sold security systems door to door, stuff like that, right? And then I just worked my way up business to business, and now wholesale broker as what I am. But I am tired of that 9 to 5 lifestyle, all the travel, all the constant meetings, the emails. I got people all around the world I got to answer emails for. So if I get an email at 10 p.m. at night and I see it, I got to answer it because it's just the line of work that I'm in. But I've kind of become actually obsessed with the whole affiliate marketing thing. Like I have. And like I said, I was a big gamer. I still am. I love my games. But I'll hop on and I'll play a game and I'm just like, oh, I have an idea. I want to go do this. Like,
Right. Sure. No, I totally get it. My hobby has become my business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a good
know?
way of putting it. That's a great way of putting it.
Yeah. So I was never into games. I think it was an attention span thing, or I don't know. I have a hard time following like long shows too, like Netflix shows or whatever. I just get distracted, and I'd rather be thinking about like business stuff. And so sometimes even in my downtime, I was talking to my wife yesterday, and I was like, God, she's like, what do you? I said, God, I've not watched any shows, and she's like, well, what are you doing? Like when you're out back smoking a cigar, like what do you know? And I'm like, well, I'll just turn on an album and I'll just let it ride, and I'll just sit there in with no screen, with no show going or anything, and just think.
Mhm.
Just think about business ideas, think about that's sometimes where my best kind of creative thoughts come. And then I'll have my phone there and I'll jot down, notes on my notepad in my phone, or maybe if I think about something, I'll pull up my phone and go look at some numbers or whatever, like some stats, some data, like kind of, I don't know. It's just, I can relate to that. It becomes a bit of an obsession, and I think it's a good addiction. I definitely think there's been times in my career when I didn't have structure and routine, and it would piss my wife off because I never get home on time or stop working or always looking at my phone through dinner, and so I needed to learn to have boundaries with my business, especially if my business exists within my home. Like my office is within my home. I had to learn how to have boundaries, right?
Yeah, that's a tough one to manage. I understand that one.
Yeah. So, I mean, I have my desk in my office is in a separate house. We had an office, but when the pandemic hit, we got a work house, and I work out of another house now. So I've kind of got pretty good separation, but for many years, as a matter of fact, this picture has, damn it, I just dropped my golf ball I was fidgeting with. But for many years, and many of you guys have likely seen some of these photos, but I wanted to show you one because it's kind of funny. My my office was actually, let me share my screen here. My office was actually so right here when I started, right? This was back in, whatever, 2010 or something like that. When I started, my my office was right in the middle of the living room.
Yeah, look at
Right.
that.
Right. So you
Wow.
can see our dinner table
Yeah.
right over there to the right of me on the left side of the screen, and then over on the right side of the screen was our couch, and we had a little fireplace and stuff over there. But I talk about no separation. You know what I mean? Like that was how I worked. And I think I'm thankful to my wife for going along with that, and she even bought my first computer for me, or at least let me put it on her credit card that she had when we met. Right, she had credit, I had none, and I paid it off $50 a month at a time. But yeah, I had no separation. So yeah, it can be difficult, but still, that this was when my hobby became my business, my passion. I can relate to that, and I'm thankful that it did, because that passion, that hobby, I guess it started out a little bit like a hobby or whatever. It's turned into a career. So do you see that same potential happening for you? Do you see this moving in the direction of an actual career for you?
Oh, for sure. From how, like you say, passion, from how passionate I get over this, I definitely want to make this my career. And I definitely want to move towards that. Like everything I do now, I've just been kind of, wheels are always spinning about ideas, what I can do next and stuff like that. And even when you talk about no separation there, like I got a big pile of laundry here. I fold laundry, and then I'll watch video. I'm a big research guy. So I watch a ton of videos. I like learning. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is how you're going to grow your business, how you're going to grow yourself. So I'll just put on YouTube or whatever stream is going on, and I'll just be listening, and I'll be folding laundry, right? Like that's it. It's just, you kind of, I don't believe in that. For those who say they can't really find the time, I believe you can find the time if you actually look. Like I said, you got a little bit of chores to do. Well, if those chores are like doing some laundry, well, you can be learning at the same time, right? So
I love that. I love that humility of doing whatever. When you have kids, man, you either get humble or you get humility.
yeah,
right? It's
for
like
sure.
you do whatever.
Time is a commodity, right? Like it's
yeah, it's scarce. But at the same time, it's abundant, right? Like you said, it's there. It's interesting the things and I find this fascinating. If you don't mind me pointing this out, you said that your father has been successful with what he's done, and it sounds like you have the ability to move in. You're already in that business, and the ability to potentially take over that business and and potentially just kind of ride that out in a sense. But you've got this kind of this super independent and self-starting and wanting to create your own legacy and find your own time, build your own business, do your own research. I mean, all these things that's inspirational to me. I wonder what your position is on that. I mean, obviously your why, your kids, like all these things, but what else is driving you to go out and blaze your own trail, if you will?
To be honest with you, I'm kind of tired of just being in his shadow, and he has told me that, yeah, one day the business is mine if I want it, and it is good money. But he also told me, but I'll be remaining, I'll just be remaining CEO, and I'll just stay in the background and kind of collect my own paycheck. And I'm just like, well, you know what? We clash heads a lot. He's very old school. He's a face-to-face mentality. He's do whatever it takes for the client customer. And that's great. And I do believe in that. Like you need to take pride in what you do. He does love what he does.
Yeah.
And we weren't really affected. We're in the grocery and produce industry. Wholesale is what we sell to all the big guys. So I mean, we weren't really affected by the recession. My life is kind of secure if I want to go that route. And I even have friends that have told me, you're crazy. What do you mean? What do you mean you want to get out of it?
Right.
I want to do my own thing. I want to go my own way. Like this is not for me. The whole just constant have to be, how do I word this? All the travel, all the meetings, all the deadlines. The deadlines are what kills me the most. Especially with having two kids, it's hard to hit deadlines. Having two kids constant, and at the age that they're at right now, they're not quite in school yet. They're still another year away from school. So, time it's hard to hit those deadlines. I'm just tired of the whole 9-to-5 rat race mentality. It's stressful. Right. And this has been unstressful for me. I've been enjoying this. And the fact that I've been enjoying this makes me want to pursue it.
I just find it fascinating that people, like, no matter what we have, sometimes we think that other people have it so much better. And there's a lot of people who would probably, like you said, your friends love to be in your shoes, kind of just coast in the family business and kind of ride that out. And here you are, you want to go and blaze a completely different path. And so I think that's an amazing lesson for everybody, including myself, to remember that the grass is not always greener on the other side. Sometimes it's just artificial turf. And I can't constantly spend my life looking at everybody else going, I wish I had their life. Well, if I only just had a successful family business, if I only just had a little bit more cushion, if I only just had this, if I only just had that, we can sit around and wish and hope that we had it a different way. But the truth is that we don't know that if we were in that position, we'd actually even want it. That's the thing that's going to make us happy. Because clearly, you have what many of your friends think you're crazy for walking out on, but here you are wanting to blaze a different path. And I admire that. It's inspirational. I think it's a great lesson. Talk about learning, researching. It's a great lesson for everyone, I think, to remember that it's not we make ourselves happy. We make ourselves happy, and each one of us has the ability to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
We each have that ability to be able to do that. I was just listening to somebody's story, just briefly on social media, and like my limited time on social today, I spent a little bit of it this morning, and I try to limit it anyways. And she's like, I spent my whole life, like thinking that I had to think negative thoughts or whatever, or trying to change my thinking. And she's not entrepreneur. She's just a regular person, right? Just somebody who's going to college and just living her life. Not, weirdos like us who are like, always trying to, start businesses and stuff. And she goes, I realize that I just can think positively and just expect positive things to happen in my life. And I'm a lot more happy.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it's just like, yeah. Like just that little shift of, instead of expecting like bad shit to happen, instead of expecting like Murphy's Law, like if it's going to go wrong, it will go wrong, expecting good things, expecting positive outcomes, and just having a positive attitude. It's amazing how that can change your happiness level. Obviously you said you're having fun doing this, but what comes up for you as I say that, a rant about that a little bit?
No, it's just funny because that's the way I look at it. Like my entire life has been, I viewed it as it's been set for me, right? Like from the moment, I entered in high school to, my dad's got this business. So after this, I'm going to college to learn how to do my dad's business, right? And it's always been kind of set that way. It's always been kind of, this is what you're doing in life, Chad. And I've just always thought, well, this is what I have to do because, other people would love to be in my position. So you know what, I got to do it, right? Simply because of that. Right. And I've been nothing but unhappy and depressed and anxiety, stuff like that. And to me, well, why make good money if you're just going to be unhappy your whole life, right? And why work your butt off just to enjoy life when you retire? It doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't.
I love that you're talking about that. I was hoping that my, throwing the question out there a few minutes ago would bring such honesty and transparency about how you feel. Look, I worked with my dad. I get it. We didn't have a huge business, but I just understand the idea of working for dad, working in dad's shadow, wanting to bust out. I got some hilarious stories. I won't get into them about some of the dumb ass shit I did when I bought a truck and thought I was going to go out and start a construction business, being just totally unprepared to do that. Right. This was even before I started online. I went out and did a couple of estimates, hurt myself. One of the guys who I was doing an estimate at his house, a garage door fell on my hand. The guy had to drop me off at the emergency room. I mean, it was, but that was how desperate I was to get out and kind of blaze my own path. Right. I was willing to kind of go out and sort of fake it till I made it. Now, thankfully, I found internet marketing. I could kind of, sit in the safety of my home behind a computer and not kill myself. Right. And take a little bit more time to get where I was going. But I really get that. I appreciate the honesty about, the family biz. I'm sure Pops understands, and you can't help but to maybe he doesn't. Maybe he does.
Actually, Pops doesn't know yet.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, don't send this to is it Bowl or Bowley? Boulay. Don't send this to Mr. Boulay, okay? But look, I get it. I mean, it's like, wow, I'm just trying to sit with that for a second. Just that my life is laid out for me, and oh God, that's heavy, dude. I'm really glad that you shared that, and I'm also glad that you are doing what's making you happy. And I don't know, that's just a heavy thing. I can see how you're working with something there that I've never had to experience, and I respect it, and I respect the way that you're handling and going about it, and it's really a pleasure to have you on and talk to you and hear some of these. It's a different perspective, Chad. It's just a different perspective. I mean, we all have different like life situations, and some people are just struggling. They don't have a pot to piss in, a window to throw it out of. They're trying to start an online business. They're in desperation mode, and here you are. You're not financially desperate. You've got a 9-to-5 that's thankfully thrived through the pandemic. Your dad owns the business, and you're blazing your own path, and you're working your own business, and you're raising kids, and you're working your ass off just as hard as any one of us trying to make it. And I think that's really something that I can take my hat off to, brother.
Thank you. I just don't see a point. Why would you take an easy route if you're unhappy? It doesn't make sense. And plus, for me, I don't know if there's others out there that can relate. I'm sure there's some, but when you do work for your father as well, all eyes are on you. Like, you can't make mistakes.
Bro. Yeah,
so
right,
that just adds more stress, right? And he can't show favoritism, so he's even harder on you. It's just,
it's a tough thing. I've got a couple of friends. One who worked in his family business, and they ended up selling it. He's got a lot of money, and I sometimes ask myself, often, in him, was that business and your money a gift or a curse, man? Because he's really struggles with feeling happy just about his life and feeling content. And I think there's also an element of people wanting to feel like they built and created something, right? I think that's built into us. I'm obviously speaking as a male. I'm not saying women don't have similar feelings and stuff. I don't know what women feel and think. I never will. I can only seek to try to understand, but I don't know. I think that there's an instinct to want to build, to want to create, to want to go out there, make a name for yourself, pave your own road, blaze your own trail. I don't know. Maybe later in life we come back and we say, "Hey, pops, I've often thought about, now that I've pursued my own thing and blazed my own trail, retire from this and go back and lay a little bit of tile with dad."
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. I'm not going to do that. Okay. But I've thought, it's kind of like, now that I've blazed my own trail, I've sort of quenched that thirst. Right. Mm-hmm. So you felt that thirst, you're feeling that thirst. And instead of sitting in it, and this, I think, is another important takeaway, instead of sitting in it and letting it fester, build up shame or resentment or whatever, you're doing something about it. Mm-hmm. And it's not like, and you've already said, hey, money, I'm sure money's going to come, but I'm going to go out and create. I'm going to blaze a path. And I think that's really important for those of you who are sitting around maybe feeling bad about past business failures or whatever you might be sitting around feeling bad about. There's one way to solve that. Do something.
Yeah, be consistent, man. Be consistent.
It's amazing, Chad. And I want to bring it in for a landing with this question. It's amazing. I would assume that before you started this internet marketing journey, you were feeling unsettled, unsatisfied, overwhelmed, overworked, just kind of restless and resentful and tired, right? You're like, I don't really want to be doing this. I want to do something else. I want to blaze my own trail. You've been doing this for how long? When did you start?
Like, when did I start doing my research?
When did you actually take action, join, and get started?
I joined, I believe it was towards the end of November. Or
of 2020.
Mid-November, end of November, somewhere around there.
Okay. So
that's when I first started.
Okay, not even 6 months.
No.
Okay, so here's what I'm saying to you guys. This is the point that I'm trying to make. Is that, are you happier now?
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. I'm excited, like I said, to wake up every day, man. And I was never excited waking up for my 9 to 5.
I want you guys to listen. That's how quick life can change. Now, are you rich from internet marketing? Have you made $1 million, Chad?
Nope, not yet.
My man. So my point is here, it's not about, right? Happiness isn't particularly because he's gone out and made, tons of money fast, but he shifted through action the way you feel about yourself and life and your happiness level and your excitement. And that's the point that I was making, was if you're pissed off, bitter, resentful, unhappy, unsettled, there is a way to change that. And it is through acting yourself into a new way of thinking, right? Acting yourself into it, not sitting around thinking like, oh, think happy thoughts, think happy thoughts, think happy thoughts, right? Right?
Yeah.
What the hell is that, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, just Callie Vernon's on. She says, just freaking start. It gets so easy. What's up, Callie? Chad, last word to you, brother. What would you say to somebody who's sitting also at that checkout page, getting ready to go through the challenge and wondering, does this really have the possibility to change my life?
You just got to start. Like, that's it. Like, I mean, you can talk yourself. The longer you push it, the more you procrastinate, the more you're missing out on. Right. So, I mean, you really just kind of got to start and be consistent. And if you do it every single day, you will see results. It's plain and simple. And to those out there who have, like, I just want to touch on it while you were talking about it, on those who have, get discouraged because they failed at a few ventures and whatnot. I always look at, there was a one saying on, for him creating the light bulb there. He's like, I'm just drawing a blank right now because I'm a little bit nervous, but he's Edison. He said, people say he failed at creating the light bulb 1,000 times, but he never said that. He said he successfully found 1,000 ways to not make a light bulb. Mm-hmm. And then he finally cracked it. Right. So, I mean, don't let yourself get discouraged if things haven't worked out for you in the past. Just be consistent. Be consistent. Do it every single day. Put in the time, and it will work out.
I love it, man. I love it. Well, hey, I'm going to let you get back to your business and your laundry, brother.
Yeah, okay? Perfect. Thank you.
All right, man. Thank you for your honesty, your experience. All the best, brother. Be legendary, and let me know if there's anything I can do to help, okay?
Awesome. Sweet. Thank you.
All right. See you, buddy.
Have a good one.
See ya. All right, my friends. There it is. A lot of wisdom in that lesson. A lot of good experience and wisdom that we all can take with us today and into the future.